Hello and welcome. I am Catherine Kuntz, Director of Alumni Relations at Dominican University, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the first of our Fall 2015 webinars. Here at Dominican, we're delighted to be able to offer these resources to our alumni. You might not be here on campus taking advantage of the resources here, but we're glad to be able to offer you access to these wonderful career coaches and resources that can help you in your career wherever you are in the world. Of course, we welcome you back to campus anytime you're in the area. So our first webinar is presented by Isabel Terry Hsu. She's a career coach in the San Francisco Bay Area. And today she's going to be talking to us about how to find a career that you absolutely love. Seems like such a wonderful topic for anyone to really consider what you're doing in the world and how to do what you really love. So throughout the call, all of you attendees, as you may have noticed, you're in listen-only mode. So that won't, no background noise will interrupt the presentation. But if at any time you have a question or an issue, please use the chat box on the screen, and I'll be monitoring that throughout the webinar. So with that, I'd like to give the floor to Isabel.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for the introduction. I'm very excited. I'm super happy to be here with you today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my passion. Because what I'm doing now is actually doing the work I absolutely love. By being here with you and sharing this content, it's doing what I love, and there is nothing else in the world that I would love to be doing than that, and I really mean it. So I want you to know that it's possible to do the career you absolutely love. It is possible. I'm an example of it, and I want to show you how you can do it yourself too. And the first thing, I really want to acknowledge you for being here today, spending this hour on your probably busy schedule to be here to look at your career. This already shows to me that you have a commitment to being even happier in your work, and I'm happy you are here today. So in this webinar, I'm going to share with you some of the key secrets and the most important keys that I find about finding and doing the career you love. And as Catherine mentioned, I have a company called Brilliant Seeds based in San Francisco, where I do one-on-one career coaching, and I also give workshops and talk and webinars like this one. And also what I wanted to add is the question, I think, Catherine, what we discussed is that if people have, if you have deeper questions, that you can type them in, and then we'll keep 10 minutes at the end to answer the deeper question. And if you have more clarifying question during the way, then we can answer both. Is that correct, Catherine?
That's correct. That's how we'll do it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I want also to welcome, there might be people here today that might not be part of the alumni that I invited, and I want you also to welcome them here. And thank you, Catherine, for allowing other people who might benefit from the talk to be here as well.
Yes, welcome to everyone.
Yes. So first of all, I want to make sure that this webinar is really for you, so that you're in the right place. You might all be in the right place, but it's nice to really clarify what this webinar is about. So this webinar is really for you if you feel one of these applies. So either you feel stuck in a career you no longer love, or maybe you're not working right now, but you don't know what to do exactly. And if you long to do meaningful work, but are not sure what it might be, or maybe you know what it is, but you don't know how to make it happen. And you are ready to find the career of your dreams, but don't really see a clear path forward. Or you want to find and do the career you love the most. And it's possible that you may kind of like your career a bit, maybe you want to love it even more. So in all these cases, you are in the right place and you're gonna get a lot out of the webinar. What I want to say that this webinar is not about finding a job, in a shorter job that pays the bill. I know it's important to be able to do that, but this really is to find the career you love and that is the most meaningful for you. So what you'll get out of this webinar today, you're going to learn about the three most important keys to finding the career you absolutely love. You're also going to get some clarity about your own personal career happiness and starting the process or continuing the process on that. And you're going to learn also about some steps you need to take to start down the path to finding the career you love or doing it more. And when you follow the three keys I'm going to present today, you won't have to take another job you hate. Because I know what it is. Sometimes we get stuck and this is going to help you to get a compass so that you know what you love and you follow that to find jobs that really are connected with you and that you love. Also, you won't be doubting again about your career path, because what I see a lot of people doing is that they are in this cycle where they find a job and it doesn't work and they find another one and they're always kind of doubting and second guessing the decision. So this is about knowing the direction of your career so that you don't have to consistently second guess yourself in your decision. And also you will feel really confident about your talents and what you do, because I see most people who are not happy in their career often, their confidence is so low in their talents and ability. And I can tell you by listening to some of the three keys is going to bring you on the path to really feel confident about your talents and what you do. You don't have to change yourself to do the work you do. There is nothing you need to fix about yourself. You know, sometimes we have this idea, oh, I need to be more of this or more of that, and we're trying to change who we are to fit into work. It's not the way it works. The more you're going to be yourself, it sounds counterintuitive, but this is true. The more you're going to be yourself, you're going to embrace your natural talents, the more you're going to find work that is deeply fulfilling for you, which might be a good news for you. You don't have to be somebody else than who you are. Just who you are is perfect. And also you wake up, you know, every day excited to go to work. Like I do, I just love my work. I love going to work, and you also find a sense of purpose and fulfillment. So here are some of the topics I'm going to talk about in this webinar, and also I will also share with you a bonus that I have to support you in really finding the career you love and helping you apply some of the learnings from the webinar. So ensure you stay tuned during the webinar. I'll share that with you. And before I start telling you about the three keys, I want to share with you a bit of my journey, because I love my work right now, but it hasn't always been the case. And I want you to know a bit more how I made it happen for myself, and that you know that you are not alone. Whatever point you are in your journey, whether you don't like your current work or you want to love it more, know that you are just not alone. And I know the feeling. So before doing the work I'm currently doing, I used to work for 10 years in the internet industry. And by the way, I want to say I'm French originally, so I have a French accent when I speak in English. So if by any case there is a word or something that get in the way, you need clarification, feel free to ask, and I'm happy to tell you. So I worked for 10 years in the internet industry as a user experience researcher. So I was helping people navigating the internet, ensuring the websites were really user-friendly for people. And I've done that for 10 years. And initially, I really loved my job. It was like, oh, that's so cool. I get to know what's going on in people's mind when they are using the website, and I love digging deeper into what people think and using my natural empathy. And so it was really fun at the beginning, and I like it, and I have no regret about doing it. And at the same time, my true #1 passion was something else. So on the side, my true passion was self-discovery and personal growth. Some people may have passion around hiking or traveling. I love travel too, but traveling or doing things. One of my passion is like discovering about myself, like traveling within myself, who I am, what are my passion, what I'm here to do in the world, what are my natural talents. So this, I love doing this. And so I would do, for the past 10, 15 years, I've followed a lot of workshops, read books, do a lot of journaling about, okay, who I am, I'm noticing I love that, that's so cool, and doing all these juicy things for me. And I remember one day, I was in Montreal, Canada at the time, because I've lived a few years in Montreal, Canada. And I remember one day thinking, oh my God, if one day I could do that part of work, if I could help people do what I'm doing for myself and help them really find who they are, what are their natural talents and passions, so that they can really use that as a compass to find a career they love. That would be amazing. But at the time, I really didn't think it would be possible. Sometimes you have this fantasy in your head, like dream, one day if I could do that, but you discount it because you think, oh no, that sounds kind of crazy. It's never going to happen. So in the meantime, I moved to San Francisco Bay Area to work for Yahoo, which was another of my dreams, to really come here to San Francisco Bay Area. So I moved here to work for Yahoo as a user experience researcher. And initially, I really loved it. It was fun, everything. It was great. However, after a few years, I hit a point where I became totally miserable in my work. So miserable that I remember one day, and I was in my cube, and I can see myself there again. I was in my cube, and I was so sad to be at work that I wanted to cry. And I couldn't hold it anymore. It was hard because I had to not cry, but I really wanted to cry. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sad to be here. And I remember a coworker coming to me and asking me, wow, Isabel, today you look so sad. What's happening for you? And it was so hard because I couldn't tell him, I didn't feel comfortable telling him the truth. That, oh my God, if you know how much I hate my job right now, if you know how painful it is to be here today. And that was really hard for me. And what was hard, and it has nothing to do with Yahoo, with the job, it's a great company, just who I was and the work I was doing was not a good fit anymore. And I remember what was also very painful is that my confidence would go down so badly. I would start questioning myself, wondering, am I good enough? What's wrong with me? Even if I was doing a good job, but inside of me, there was something that felt off. I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm good at that. And I was really questioning myself, which I see in a lot of people who don't like the work they do. It's very common to lose total confidence and question your ability and your talents. And I remember also going to social events. I would dread going to social events because the first question people ask you in social events is, what do you do? And when you don't like your work, it's hard to answer this question. And because when I would tell people what I do, people would say, oh my God, you work for Yahoo, user experience research, that sounds so fun. Oh my God. And inside of me, I was just like, oh my God, if you know how much I don't like my job. So that was really painful for me. And fortunately, luckily for me, in a sense, shortly after that, maybe the universe sent me a good signal to help me out. I got laid off from Yahoo. And initially that was a shock. I wasn't expecting it, but it was actually kind of a wake-up call for me. I was like, oh my God, okay, now I ready to do what I love the most. And I started thinking back about that dream that I had in Montreal 8 years before, and thinking, wow, okay, if I don't do that, try to do that right now, I will never do it. Now is the time. And this was 5 years ago. And I remember exactly 5 years ago in December that I was laid off. So it's kind of special for me to share that with you right now, especially as my business is really blooming, and see that it's possible to make a change happen. And so after that, I really decided to make that happen. So I had, I went to a journey. I won't have time to tell you all the ups and downs of my journey, but I want you to know there have been a lot of ups and downs, so that you don't idealize me and think, oh my God, it was easy for her to make the change. No, it's not easy. The reality is challenging, but it's possible to make it happen when you have the determination and the passion and the support to make it happen. So I also, in my case, I needed to get a visa to stay in the US because I didn't have a green card or citizenship. So I had another challenge on my way that I had to find a way to stay here. So I went back to school, study psychology, coaching, got help to start my business, go through many ups and downs, and time where I didn't believe it was possible, all of that. To finally, one small step after one small step, slowly making it happen to a point where today I'm like sharing that with you and thinking, oh my God, it's happening. Just one step at a time. And today I'm very touched to share with you that what I was doing in Montreal 10 years ago, and that really touches me, on the side, and that was my passion. It's what I'm doing with my clients. It's what I'm doing with you. So this that I'm sharing with you is coming from that, from my own journey and my passion. And I'm so blessed to be able to do that today. And it's what I want for you. It's why I'm here. I want you to know that it's possible to do your passion and do that in your work and make that happen for yourself. And it's what I want for you. And the good thing is, through my journey and the work I do with my client, I find out about, a step-by-step process to help people really find and do the career they love. And it's what I'm going to share with you. Specifically today, I'm going to share with you the 3 most powerful keys that I find are really the most important to get started on that journey and make it successful. Okay. So if you had just one thing to remember from the webinar today, that would be this one. Align your career with who you are. Sometimes people, we look for magic formula. We look for people outside of ourselves to tell us, oh my God, tell me what I should be doing with work. We take assessment. I see people taking a bunch of assessment. I've done that myself, hoping, oh, I'm going to find the answer in the assessment. It's going to tell me what I should be doing with my work. We hope a career counselor is going to tell me what you think, what is in me, what I should be doing. And when actually it doesn't work this way. If there was a magic formula, is this one, is aligning your career with who you are. It's both very simple and also complicated. I'm going to share that with you a little bit more. So what I see, a lot of people who come to me often are stuck in a career. They have been working in a career for a while, 5, 10 years, sometimes more or less, been sometimes successful and love it, and they reach a point where they are totally miserable in the career and they totally lose confidence. And as I'm sharing that, I want to say, if in your case you are not totally miserable in your career and you want even to improve it, this applies to you as well. I'm talking about people who are really miserable, but wherever you are in the scale of happiness with your career, these keys are going to be helpful for you anyway to make it even better. So most people come to me and they are really miserable, they have lost confidence, they are really lost, and they don't know, they want to do something that makes them happy, but have no clue how to make it happen. And what is really painful for them is that they have tried so many things and they get stuck and stuck. So some of the things I mentioned, taking a bunch of career assessment, doing a lot of interviews, changing job, hoping, oh, if I do, I'm gonna find a job that's gonna make me happy, instead of going deeper into the root of the problem. And often hoping somebody's gonna give them the answer, or maybe friends and family know what I could be doing with my work, and waiting for advice from other people. And nothing really seems to work, and they feel stuck into this cycle. And the reason why people often get stuck into this cycle is that because we don't go deep enough. Because most often, one of the top reasons why people are not happy in their career and they get stuck is because your career, the work you do, and who you are, what I call your authentic self, are not aligned. So imagine wearing shoes that don't fit your feet. There is a point, it's so painful that you're gonna feel it in your whole body, and you're not gonna be able to avoid it. It's the same with when career doesn't fit your authentic self. You feel it in all your life. Your confidence go down. You lose a sense of purpose. It's not just work. You know, sometimes people say, "Oh, work is just work." Imagine we spend so much work. This is the time when we spend the most time in our lives. Imagine it's like being in a relationship. When you don't love your partner and you are not a good fit and you stay your whole life in that relationship with this partner, this is the same with work. When you stay in a career you don't love, this is what happened to your whole life. And so when I talk about your authentic self, what I mean by that is, what are your natural strengths? What are the things you are naturally good at? I'm not talking about skills there. I'm talking about your natural talents, the thing that you are so good at naturally, without forcing, that you take them for granted. It's easy for me to talk from my passion and my heart. You may notice that right now. And it's something that, it's not a skill. It comes to me naturally. I'm naturally passionate because my personality is like that. And I convey passion in what I share with people, and I know the impact is often that inspire people and that touch them. And this is not a skill, it's something I have naturally. I didn't choose it. It's, and because I'm clear on that and I've embraced that, now I can really use it and find also work that is aligned with that. So this is what your strengths and natural talents are. And sometimes it may be hard to identify them, so there are many different ways to find them out, but asking other people what qualities and strengths they see in you might be one of the ways that you can find them out or start looking at them, because they can see something that you may not be able to see. Who you are, it's also what I call your values. So your values are your kind of ingredients of fulfillment. So they are not necessarily your principle of morals or things like that. They are what ingredients you need in your work and in your life to be really fulfilled. Imagine you are baking a cake and you don't know which ingredient to put in your cake. What do you think how the cake is going to be? What are the chances for you to make a good cake if you don't know exactly for sure which ingredient to put in them? It's going to be very tricky. This is the same for work and life. If you don't know what are the ingredients of fulfillment, what are the key things you need in your life to be happy. So examples can be, a sense of adventure. I want authenticity, but going deeper than that. I love being empathic with people, any kind of thing. You need to know that. Finally, what are your passions? What are the things you just love doing, naturally, that you just love so much. You know, like in my case, self-discovery is one of them. And the thing that you love so much and you constantly think about, that they are easy for you to do and you love doing. And a good way to get at your, you know, your passions and also your values is, you know, asking yourself, and I would invite you to ask yourself that right now, to just take the time right now to connect with yourself in this moment. And maybe you can close your eyes if that helps you connect with yourself. And also you can take a deep breath. And really take the time to think about moments in your life or work where you were doing something, whatever that is. It can be short thing, can be big, it doesn't matter. You were doing something you loved so much, that it was easy, you were in the flow, you felt fulfilled, you felt confident, you just love doing this thing, whatever that is, so much. It was like, oh my God, that feels so good. And you were totally excited and you felt confident. So think about moments like that, whether in your work or in your life. It doesn't matter if it's work or life. And look at these moments. What specifically in this moment was so fulfilling for you? What felt so good about this moment? And take the time to identify what are the ingredients that made this moment so special and so good for you. So of course we will need more time to do that, but it's just to give you a tip, and I encourage you to continue after the webinar to ask yourself these questions and list all these moments for you that we call peak experience, where you are totally in the flow. And it's possible that right now nothing is coming to mind. That's normal. Generally we spend more time doing that. So, but I really encourage you to continue this kind of discovery on yourself afterwards. And it doesn't mean, by the way, there is one moment coming to mind, oh, this is a work I should be doing. This is one small piece of the puzzle. So you need to have a lot of different moments and look at, different things to find out about that. And finally, who you are is also, your personality type and different model that I use around that. And I don't use assessment, because sometimes when I say personality type, people start cringing and say, don't put me in a box. So it's not about putting you in the box. It's about finding what is really unique about you. So, and the beauty of that, when you find out about all of this, you discover that there is actually a thread that ties everything together. And what I call your inner compass. Sometimes we have the feeling, oh my God, I'm all over the place. I love so many things. I don't know if they relate with each other. We feel conflicted between things. Actually, when you take the time to look deeper and notice the thread, you actually notice that in each person, and I see that with all the people I work with consistently, there is a thread that ties everything together. That is, what is your unique essence, what you are here in the world to bring, what are your unique gifts. And when you find that out, it's so powerful because it gives you a compass for life. And it's why I was telling you, when you got that, you stop second guessing the direction of your career, because you know who you are. You can stand deeply into yourself when you make career decisions, and they are coming from you and what you are here to do. And it's one of the reasons also I'm so confident talking to you right now and doing the work I do. It doesn't mean my job is always easy and I always like it. It's a reality that there are days where, it's not as fun as others, but I know I'm doing the work that is good for me because I have this compass, and I know it's totally aligned with this compass and who I am. And by the way, I encourage you, I didn't say that, but if you want to, take notes as I'm talking, to really look for yourself, what's, as I'm sharing with you, notice all the insights, if there are insights coming up or things that resonated for you, for your experience. And feel free to take some journal, take notes about it that you can continue after the webinar. And there is this quote that I really like that really illustrates for me that truth and that point. So everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. And reading that for me brings emotions because I see so many people who think they are stupid or they are not good enough not because they actually are stupid, but because what they do is not aligned with who they are. It's like a fish climbing a tree. And I see so many people in that situation. So I want you to know that you have genius inside of you. You have something unique to bring. And it can be scary to look at it but the more you're going to look at it, the more you're going to find your path to a fulfilling career. And if you want to go deeper into that specific point, I have a free report that I created specifically for that. You'll see with some specific diagrams that kind of help you on the authentic self. That is really helpful. A lot of people who have read it told me that how helpful it was, and they could see themselves into it, and it gives themselves a lot of hope about why they were stuck in a career they don't love and what is the path to really doing the career you love, especially around discovering your authentic self. So I give you some time if you want to write that down, or maybe go directly to the website right now and you can download the free report there. That I think is going to be a very valuable resource for you. So it's brilliantseeds.com, which is the name of my website, /free gift. Okay, I'm going to move on to the second key. I hope you're following so far, and that's getting some insight for yourself. So I want to share something that is very important for me, is that I wouldn't be here today talking to you, doing the work I love the most, living from my dream city in the world, which is San Francisco, doing that in English, which is my second language. If 10 years ago in Montreal, I didn't give myself permission to dream, if I didn't planted this seed 10 years ago and listening to that voice in me that was telling me, oh my God, what if one day I could do what I'm doing as work, and I could do that. If I didn't listen to that voice, starting listening to it, to that seed in me, I would never be here today. It's like a seed, I would never have allowed the seed to blossom into a beautiful flower, a beautiful tree. So this point is really important. We often discount it so much, especially in our society and culture where we are a lot about problem solving. The key question people ask around career offer is that realistic? Is that feasible? Does that make sense? And unfortunately, this question gets in the way of really doing what you love most often, especially when this question comes too early and kills the seeds of the dream. Imagine for me if when I was in Montreal, starting to have this little voice telling me, oh my God, if one day I could do that, if I had say, it's never going to happen, stop dreaming, people don't do what they love, it's impossible, you cannot really do work helping people to do self-discovery. Who would be paid for that, And I had some of these voices, to be honest, like we all have these voices that judging us and trying to, this kind of inner critic trying to get in the way. So I had these voices. The difference is that, and at the beginning I had a lot of them. You know, I had the voices of the dream and the voices of the critic, and they were all in me. But slowly, you know, I started listening more to the voices of the dream. And I started doubting the voices of the inner critic. I didn't buy, you know, initially I may think it was true, but slowly, month after month, I was like, who said it was not possible for me to become bilingual? Who said it was not possible for me to move to my dream city in the world, to San Francisco? And I started realizing, looking around me, and I was like, nothing said that. It's not like it's coming from me. Nothing said that I couldn't, except me, or maybe except, you know, the negative belief of my parents, the negative belief of society that put a lot of, no, you can't do that. But who said this is true when people say you cannot do the work you love? You know, some people say that, but is that actually true? So starting challenging these kind of voices of doubt is super important, so that you can really listen to the voices of your dream, of what you really want. And it's what I invite you to do right now, is to start, you know, imagine we are in a world where there is no, you can do you can choose the type of work or activity you want, and you don't have the constraint of money or anything. You can just choose. You are on a planet where you're like, okay, you want to, I don't know, make a living helping people how to surf. I'm thinking just saying something. You can just do it. So why now I invite you for that part to push aside all the voices telling you, no, it doesn't make sense, it's crazy. Push that aside. And just for at least a few minutes, allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to think, imagine everything is possible. You have no constraint right now. It doesn't mean you have to do that tomorrow. We do that for 5 minutes, that's all. You have no constraint. And you can do the work that would make you the happiest in the world. Or the type of work, maybe you don't know what it is, that's okay. How would that look like for you? And it can be, you may have pieces of it. It doesn't have, you know, sometimes it's a hard question to answer, but start imagining you don't have any constraint. What are something you have always dreamed of doing as work, but you have maybe pushed it aside? Or maybe something, maybe it's not, probably not fully clear right now, but it is something that you would love. Oh, I would love to be more active, doing work that would be in nature. I would love whatever that is. Think about that right now. And if it's too difficult, because sometimes it's hard to go to that point of, you know, no constraint, and it's totally okay, by the way. If for you it's difficult to do that right now, know that you're not alone. I've heard so many people. It's normal because it's a new way of thinking. But you can start by asking yourself this question. Imagine if you can change one thing in your current career or past career if you're not working or work to make it better. What would you change? Imagine one thing that you hate, that you like, oh, I want to change it. What would you change? And how would that look like for you? How would you feel? And I really encourage you to continue this kind of question and inquiry after the call for yourself. It's not something you're going to find out once and for all. It took me some time to do that. It's just deeper inquiry, but continue on that. And so a common question I hear from that place, from now where we are, is that people say, okay, but let's imagine I have a dream, I want to do something, but how do I make it happen? You know, how, it sounds so scary. How do you do that? Is that really, you know, realistic, and how can I make it happen? So it's what I'm going to share with you in key 3. the steps to make it happen. Before I go to quiz 3, I want to share with you the bonus I mentioned at the beginning, because I know that doing this work alone, especially this work around self-discovery, can be pretty challenging and pretty difficult. So, and I know for me, it took me 5-7 years to really find and do the career you love, and I want to shorten the process for you and make it way easier for you when also you can get help. And because I really want you to do the work you love, I care about this so much, and I want to support you there. So if you are at a point in your career where you are ready to take the next step and get this handled, and I'm offering a complimentary 1-hour Find the Career You Love breakthrough session. And in this session, so it's a real full coaching session with me where I support you in that. And in this session, you will create a sense of clarity about the career you really want to do and discover the first thing that is stopping you from really doing that, and identifying the most powerful action that will move toward the career you desire. And I know this session, often people tell me it was very impactful for them, and I can see several days after people start making shift into their life and career, small shift because of it. So if you feel already anyway at the point where it's really, you're ready to just invest, time, resources, energy in the next 3 to 6 months to do that, then this session is for you, and I'll be happy to support you in that. So if this is the case, the thing is that my practice is really full right now, which is a great thing. I'm reaching my point, but I have not a lot of time, but I booked a few slots for you. So if you are interested, you can just send me an email. You can do that right away or later on with my email address. So Isabelle with LE @booleanseeds.com. And just mention, complimentary session or something like that in the subject, and just tell me, I attended your webinar, I'm interested in the complimentary session. And from there, I'm going to send you a few questions to apply for the consultation. So I have some, since I don't have a lot of spot available, I do that by application. And I'll be happy to see how we can do the session together. So the 3 points that I told you about, okay, now how do I make that happen? Maybe I know what I want to do, or maybe I'm not clear yet, but I want what step, what kind of step do I take from here? So for that, I really like using the metaphor of a mountain, climbing a mountain, because I think it applies so well. And I'm also a climber, so that speaks to me, but you'll see it's very powerful. So because I think it applies very well in this case, and you see my beautiful little drawing that I did yesterday with a mountain and hills. So it's supposed to be a mountain and then some hills. Why this metaphor is so important? Because most often the reason why people end up not happy in the career and they have regret at the end of their life, feeling, oh, I didn't really follow my dreams, is because people settle for hills instead of the true highest mountain they wanted to climb. So let me explain that. When I say the highest mountain you want to climb, I don't mean, becoming like the president of the United States or something like that. It doesn't have to be big. Is that the thing that you care about the most in your work? And, in your life as well, it's included. But the thing that would make you the happiest, whatever small or big that is, the thing that, oh my God, when you do that type of work, there is nothing else you want to do. There is no other mountain you want to climb. This is the one. This is your mountain. And this is the way I feel right now. There is no other mountain I want to climb. Maybe I want to climb a higher one because I want to expand my business, but there is no other one I want to climb. I'm at the top and I'm like looking around, I'm happy and good. And because I didn't settle for hills, because sometimes it's tempting, because it's so scary to go after the mountain you really want to climb because you are scared. It's too big. Oh my God, it's never going to happen. How am I going to do that financially? All of it. So we pick smaller hills that we think are more realistic. So short term, that may be satisfying because you don't have to feel your fear so much. But long term, you're going to have regrets at the end of your life. And they are done studies about people supporting people at the end of their life when they are just before they die. And one of the top 5 regrets people have at the end of their life is that they didn't follow their dreams. And I don't want that to happen for you. So and I start with that, looking for you right now. What is the mountain you want to climb? And what are the hills that are tempting but wouldn't be as satisfying as your mountain? And also to know, climbing a mountain takes more time and dedication than climbing a hill. So of course, it's going to take a bit more time and dedication. So short term, you're going to feel, oh, that's harder. But when you are at the top of your mountain, long term, it is so worth it, because it's going to take more time to climb the mountain, but the satisfaction at the top of your mountain is going to be not comparable to the satisfaction at the top of your hill, because at the top of your hill, you're never going to be fully satisfied, and you're always going to question yourself. And this is what I feel right now. I have my career direction for the rest of my life. Like, there is nothing else. The 5 years I spent since I was laid off from Yahoo, going through all the ups and downs and working hard and being stressed out, I have no regret. I know it was all worth it. And think about that. Think about not short term. Think about your long-term happiness in your life. How taking more time right now to work on it, to have the rest of your life, the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life, feeling fulfilled and on purpose. How worth it is for you. So knowing that it takes time and dedication so that you don't have to put your expectations so high. And also, I want to say, it takes, steps to get there. Most people think they have to climb the mountain in once. It's why we get so discouraged. We have, or either I stay in my job and I hate it, or tomorrow I quit my job, but it's too scary. Because there are gradation into that. There are steps to take. Well, like when you are climbing stairs, you don't want to climb 10 steps at the same time. It would be too much. You start by climbing one small step at a time. You don't have to climb, you don't have to eat the whole elephant at once. You just start by eating a small piece. So something I want to ask you right now is, what is one small step you're going to take this week to start climbing your mountain? A small step you can take right now. Something that is feasible. It can be emailing someone, it can be doing more self-discovery that I mentioned, it can be one small thing. And start with that. It's the way I started, step by step. It's how you climb a mountain. Otherwise, you don't climb Everest by climbing the whole mountain. You climb it step by step and you get prepared. It is the same. And an image that I find always reassuring and helpful is that often we think it's going to be a straight line, it's going to be easy, and it's why we get discouraged and we give up too quickly. Because the reality, I can tell you about my journey, it looked like the second. There have been so many ups and downs. And sometimes when you're in the down, you want to give up badly. You think this is the end of the world. And you have to feel that. You get help from people who can hold you in that space. It doesn't mean this is the end of the world. It means you are in a down right now. And this applies for your whole life. It doesn't mean that tomorrow the sun is not going to come up again. It means you're actually doing the work. But you are doing the work, and the obstacles in the work. To challenge you also, are you really ready? Do you really want that? It's like university. Are you sure you want it? And it's a way to commit again, say, yes, I want it and I'm going to do it. And another image that I really like about, giving up, how sometimes often we give up. People who fail, often people who think they fail, they give up too early. Because what you are on the way to finding is, imagine finding the career you love the most, Of course, it's not going to happen in 6 months or 2 months. You know, it may happen in 6 months, but it's a journey. So for you also to realize we are looking at to have fulfillment for the rest of your life in your career. So it might be worth it to make a bit more effort than you would do just to find a short-term job. And as I said, it's really, really worth it to do that. And also, one key that has really helped me is to get help. Don't do it alone. We are in a society that we feel help is seen as something negative. If you are not able to do it alone, you are weak. Getting help is not getting weak, is being wise. Somebody told me that recently, and I'm like, oh my God, I love it so much. You have no idea how much help I got in the past 10 years at all levels. Like friends who were very supportive when I was in the down. They were just here to support me, hold my hands. You know, financially also I got support from my family. I got so many allies on the way. I did how many therapy and coaching sessions I've done in all aspects of my life to deal with some of my emotions, my down. You have no idea. I think if I counted them, that would be, I don't know how many. So you also, to get realistic, I'm not like, I didn't do that alone. I don't want you to think, oh wow, she's special, like, you know, she's on this bubble. No, I got a lot of help, and there are times I really badly wanted to give up. So for you to know that. So here are the 3 keys I mentioned. Align your career, like a quick recap for you. Align your career with who you are, give yourself permission to dream, and climb your mountain. And congratulations for taking the first step on climbing your mountain today. It's what you did by attending this webinar. So I'm really happy that you're here. And I want you to mention, in case you missed the email address, if you are interested in a breakthrough session with me, you can email me at this address and telling me your interest, and I'll be happy to see how I can support you. And yeah, so now I'm happy to, if you have any question or any thoughts, comment, I'm happy to help you with that.
Yes, thanks, Isabel. And we'll send out that email in our follow-up email, which will also include a recording of this webinar if you want to view it again or share it with a friend, and it will be posted on our website as well. But yes, that will be in the email we send out. So yeah, if anyone has any questions for Isabel, you can type them into the question section on your control panel on the right side. We have one question. Are there any values or natural skill finder quizzes online that you can recommend to help people with that step of finding out what their natural skills and strengths are?
Oh, Catherine, could you repeat that? I lost you in the middle. I don't know why. Could you repeat the full question?
Sure. The question is if there are any quizzes online about that you could take to help identify your values or natural skills.
Mm-hmm. So for your, it's a good question. I would say for your values, the ingredient of fulfillment, know that I know about, because also there is something in the discovery process that it's not so much there is a way of doing it with more question. For your strengths, and this is one piece of the puzzle, there is one assessment that I really recommend. It's probably the only assessment I recommend. I don't use assessment overall because in many ways there are limitations and we give them too much power. But there is a Strengths Finder assessment. So Strengths Finder 2.0, if you search that online, to help you find what are your top 5 strengths. And when they call strengths, it's actually what I call your natural talents. So this is a good starting point for you. Of course, it's knowing that is one piece of the puzzle, but it's a great one to do. After that, yeah. Okay.
Great. Thanks. If anyone else has questions, go ahead and type them in. I know you encouraged us to think about first step to take this week, and you mentioned attending the webinar as one of those. I wondered if anyone on the webinar wanted to share if they were inspired to share what their first step might be in finding the career that they love.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. And I would also encourage you to do that, because the fact of sharing it publicly even help give you commitment. The fact of sharing it with us is gonna help being more committed to make it happen. So it can help you.
Right. Doesn't look like, oh, we have one.
Mm-hmm.
One person will be writing about their strengths and values this week. So writing out their strengths and values, which was something I heard you recommend. So that sounds like a great first step.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, do that. Just write down. And you can even do, sometimes people do drawing or just do mind map, or do it the way that feels good for you and play with that. Yeah, it's beautiful first step.
Another attendee is going to ask close friends and family what they think this person's natural skills and talents are. So kind of getting that outside perspective. What do other people see in me?
Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
Another person says that they will allow themselves to take risks and be okay with failing as they grow.
Beautiful. This is really important too. Yeah, and knowing that failing is not failing, it just means you are trying and you're experimenting, and you can try something else if it doesn't work.
I have a question that came in. If one hasn't felt passion for a long while in their career, what do you suggest to do to help dig up those forgotten passions?
Yeah, this is a great question. I've heard people in similar situation before, which happens often when you have probably spent so many years doing something you don't love, so you have all the layers on top, so you have to dig deeper. What I would say, so I encourage you actually to read the free report I mentioned, because I talk about that. So that would help you also get deeper understanding that it's normal that you feel that way. So the first thing I would recommend, and then try to continue journaling. The question I asked today, especially the peak experience, I know sometimes it may not arrive shortly for you, but sometimes give it some time and notice in the next few days, continue the reflection on that. That could help to do that. Of course, it's something that it's easier to help you, like if I were to do like some session with you, I could support you on that, but this has some really good step for you, and know that it's normal to feel that way. There is nothing wrong with you.
Great. Thanks for those tips. I have another question, and this attendee has some practical concerns and writes that they really admire the passion and believe in your approach to finding a career that you really love. But this attendee has concerns about supporting their family and needs to make money in the immediate future. So do you have any suggestions for both pursuing one's dreams but also making money and attending practical concerns?
Yeah, that's a good question that I hear often. So what I want to say is, thinking also step by step, you may like I have a client, for example, when she started, she was an industrial designer and she wanted to start a restaurant, but she was not ready to do it for many different reasons. So we find together what is a short step she can make, and she started working in a restaurant as a assistant chef, to transition to that. So thinking about short-term steps, knowing where you want to go ultimately, and seeing how you can, maybe the first step on your mountain is at the same time you need to sustain yourself and doing more a bit what you love. Maybe they can be you can start doing it more on the side, different ways of making, or part-time, or different things. You don't have to make it happen right away, and knowing it's a long-term journey, and maybe you can start doing on the side, or different ways to do that.
Great.
Yeah, that would be a longer, yeah, it's a good question. That would be probably a longer discussion. For you also to know that for me, when I was at Yahoo, I saved a lot of money. It's like it didn't happen. You have some time to prepare to do the shift. So you may be in how can you be in preparation mode and still finding a job that sustain your family in the meantime?
Great, great. Great, thank you, Isabel. Well, I want to just thank you one more time for sharing your insights and knowledge with all of us today. And like I said, we'll send out a follow-up email. It includes a short survey, some of the information and how to contact Isabel, a link to the recording of this webinar, as well as a link to our upcoming webinars. We have 2 more this fall. The next one is next Thursday, September 24th. And that one is being presented by a Dominican alumna, Marvell Allen, who will be talking about building a portfolio of leadership tools that can be really useful no matter what stage of your career you're at. There really is an emphasis and need for leadership skills at any stage in your career. So I hope you'll join us for that. The next one will be Thursday, October 1st. That one's entitled Managing Your Career Over a Lifetime. So let us know if you have any questions. Again, I'm Catherine Kuntz, Director of Alumni Relations here at Dominican University, or Isabel. And again, Isabel's contact information will be in the email that we send out. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, yes. Thank you, everyone. And a couple of the attendees say thank you as well.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here with you.